Welcome and welcome back, my people. Thank you so much for stopping by again. I hope you guys are doing well. My people, breeze don't they blow, we don't they see fire on yash. Yes, so God is really exposing all the people that are frustrating Nnamdi KANU'S freedom. Yes, so Ohanaeze Ndigbo has come out and they accuse 3 Southeast governors and some members of the National Assembly from the region of persistent sabotage of freedom of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Ohanaeze Ndigbo said that the governors and their cohort has persistently plotted to frustrate the art of court settlement between the Nigeria government and the Kanu. Ohanaeze Ndigbo, in a statement issued by the Secretary General Ikechukwu Isiguzoro, alleged that the governors and the other political leaders were obstructing the progress towards Nnamdi KANU'S freedom because of their personal interests. And they want those who seek to obstruct Nnamdi KANU'S release to be mindful of the consequences of their actions. And Ohanaeze Ndigbo said the recent development surrendering the possible act of the court settlements between the federal government and Nnamdi KANU. However, amidst this reign of hope, there are troubled signs of dissent and selfish motive within certain quarters. Some Southeast governors, along with a political elite and the misguided elders, seems intent on obstructing the progress towards Nnamdi KANU'S freedom. Chai, my people, wonder the session never end oh. I hope you guys are seeing what is happening. Hey, these people know that when they release Nnamdi KANU, it will render them useless and powerless, my people. Like they are fighting for their selfish reason. But one thing is for sure, one day Nnamdi KANU will be released and they go see them for their crow eyes. Have you guys seen that it's not just Hausa, Fulani and Yorubas that are holding Nnamdi KANU? Even our own people are the one even joining forces in order to make sure that Nnamdi KANU still staying in the DSS custody. Chai! This is really heartbreaking, honestly. My people, let me allow you guys to watch this particular video where they said that 50 or 60 House of Representatives, wrote a letter to Tinubu for the release of Nnamdi KANU. Please, let's watch the video together and I will be right back. Please, if today is your first time, don't forget to subscribe, share this video so that people can get opportunity to watch as well. Yes, my people, let's go ahead and watch the video and I will be right back.
Well, one of those whose voice is loudest in the chorus of demands for the release of Nnamdi KANU is the member of the House of Representatives for the Federal Constituency of Ikwano Umahia under the Labour Party, Honourable Obi Agwocha, and he joins me now in the studio.
Hello, Charles.
Thank you very much indeed for coming.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you wearing a suit.
Yeah, I look different.
I'm not used to seeing you in a suit.
Without my LP logo.
Yeah,
but I'm still Labour Party for life.
Okay, well, just in case we forgot, eh? So basically, your calculation, along with those of your colleagues, is that it is not in the interest of the Southeast or the Nigerian people or the security forces or the Tinubu administration itself to keep Nnamdi KANU locked up. Tell us why.
Well, first of all, thank you again for inviting me. On Friday, many lawmakers in the House of Representatives, we met and agreed that the best solution is to appeal to the government of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi KANU, who incidentally is my constituent. I represent him at the House of Representatives. He's from Umuahia North. I'm from Umuahia North. So it is my responsibility, as I've always done since I came to the House of Representatives, to speak for him. Where nobody else would, I would speak for him. And many others in that gap where there exists any perception of injustice or tribal discrimination in the administration of justice. Nnamdi KANU has remained locked up despite so many court judgments in his favor. The Supreme Court held that everything should go back to the lower trial court. Now, we've been shouting to say there ought to be a political solution to this issue. And the last appearance in court, Justice Binta and Yako actually came up with a solution and said all parties should at least submit themselves to a political solution.
Right. So you're encouraged by that.
I am more than encouraged
statement by
that.
the Federal
Yes,
High Court,
of course,
urging both parties to explore
Yes,
negotiation and the possibility of a settlement.
And I'm also more encouraged, simply because the prosecutor in this wise, the Attorney General of the Federation, being represented by a prosecutor there, accepted to such settlement. The council
they accepted to discuss. Right.
The counsel to Nnamdi KANU also accepted. So both parties have accepted. It is only now within the time allowable to the time Justice Nyako gave for the resumption of trial,
right,
which is September 24th. So we are moving the political consideration to move it forward so that could be some negotiations worthy enough for the consideration of the trial judge.
Although to be fair, the lawyer representing the government made it clear that it wasn't within his remit, and that they would have to go directly to the Attorney General.
Of course.
Obviously, it will be up to but the Attorney General hasn't responded yet.
The Attorney General has not responded yet.
Yeah.
But the Attorney General also takes instruction from the Commander-in-Chief, President and Commander-in-Chief. So that was why we were appealing to the Commander-in-Chief to direct the Attorney General to invoke Section 174 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic as amended, Section 174 1C, Section 174 subsection 1C, and subsection 3, basically talks about the powers of the Attorney General, that an Attorney General at any time before a judgment is rendered has the authority or the power to be able to withdraw his suit. So we want him to take care of that, and also to invoke Section 107 and Section 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, which basically talks about discontinuance of a criminal case and the withdrawal from prosecution. So we believe there has been a precedent set in other cases, whereby recently the chairman of Metiala was at the determination of the court. His matter was settled. Sunday Boho, at the determination of the court, his matter was gone. So at the determination of the court, and rightfully so, his matter were gone. Emefiele, I keep pronouncing his name wrong, the former CBN governor, was granted bail. Emefiele was granted bail. It now appears that as if Nnamdi KANU, who was also charged alongside these other people for the same treason, appears that there is one set of rules for the rest of Nigeria and one set of rules for an Igbo man. And there is also one set of rules where a Northerner is freed, a Yoruba man is freed, a Middle Belt, South man is freed, and then when it comes to the Igbo man, he will continue to languish in prison. So there's an issue of injustice, regardless of the expectation of bias that people may have regarding Nnamdi KANU or not. Is immaterial, is inconsequential. But in this country, everyone is subject to the rule of law. And I'm so happy that Justice Nyako recognizes that and has given an opportunity for all the parties to come together. And we're appealing to the president. I have known the president to be a listening and attentive president, and that I would not wish to see the president to do otherwise. Doing otherwise will render the Southeast to continue to be savaged by bloodshed. Every single day, many people, scores of people are being killed mercilessly in the Southeast, including military officers. The high level of crime and criminality, banditry, assassination, and kidnapping continues to be the order of the day.
And these people are all taking advantage.
These are all taking advantage of the incarceration of Mr. KANU, because all these people are agitating that he's still there. But once we remove Mazi KANU from de facto, then it's a lot easier to know those who are benefiting economically from crime in the Southeast and making Southeast ungovernable. And a lot of people are not going home now.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that nettlesome question in a moment. But let's just go through what the action that you have taken, and you're one of those who spearheaded that action in the National Assembly. This letter calling for Nnamdi KANU'S release has considerable multi-party support, doesn't it? With lawmakers from the APC,
from APC, PDP, Labour,
APGA,
everybody,
and even NNPP. Right. And there seems to be an urgency to your call for KANU'S release. I think you mentioned some of that, but just tell us a bit more about what spurred you and your colleagues into action at this time.
Well, what spurred me, like I said somewhere, was that I was elected a member of the Federal House of Representatives. And through my campaign, I ran on one single issue, that I would not be shut up in seeking the fundamental right of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and others in that gap. And I've demonstrated that from day one. I've questioned everybody that needs to be questioned. I've lobbied everybody that needs to be lobbied. I've consistently made my case for it.
Well, would you lobby in the same way for someone who is not from your constituency,
yes,
or who's not from the Southeast?
I'm a member of the National Assembly, and that's what it means. Right. That I'm not just there.
So you're there to stand for
justice.
Right.
I want to stand for justice. So, but in this wise is Nnamdi Kanu, and the sensitivity of it. Now, my colleagues honored me by accepting to be a part of this. I could have easily done it alone, which would not be successful. I could have also done it through other caucuses, which would not be successful. But this is for the first time that Nigeria is asking for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as been demonstrated by the members of the Federal House of Representatives representing various constituencies across Nigeria, coming together on this sensitive issue.
And how many are they? I mean, because initially, I think the newspapers were, some said 43, others said 50 lawmakers coming together.
Honestly, it must have been typographical error. The number is actually 50 that have signed, ready to go.
Right.
But because that we are on recess, we believe we will resume back plenary on or about July 2nd. And today we have commitment that would actually put that number over 150 honorable members all across political divides, all across the nation.
Well, that's a sizable number.
Of course, to demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And
I'm
highly honored by that.
Yeah, and you called, I mean, you mentioned this earlier, for the Attorney General to discontinue the case based on sections of the Nigerian Constitution,
not just, but for public interest.
Right.
For
public but I need to get to a point here, because you're saying that section, I think it's section 174, gives him the power to end the trial in the public interest, in the interest of justice, and the need to prevent abuse of legal process. And you believe that Nnamdi KANU'S case meets those criteria?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And we expect that the Attorney General, in consideration of this plea, having set precedents as well, in many other cases that I've just mentioned, cannot come to Nnamdi KANU'S case and do otherwise. Nnamdi Kanu deserves the protection of the laws of the Federation, and like I said, every subject of Nigeria, has constitutional right and due process.
And just to reiterate that you believe that Mr. KANU'S release will help to restore peace in the South.
Absolutely, without any gainsaying.
Right.
Without any gainsaying. If you look at what is happening in the Southeast, like I said, what is the basis of the agitations that are currently going on? First thing they will point is the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That's the first thing they will point. Now, if we remove Nnamdi Kanu from consideration, then it will make bare those who are enjoying the economic benefits of crime, high level of criminality, banditry and assassination and kidnapping in the Southeast. Like I said to you, the Southeast today, just like every other part of the country, I'm not just isolating the Southeast, but the Southeast today is ravaged by bloodshed And the president cannot himself say that he's satisfied with an insecure Southeast. Neither the Southeasterners also satisfied with this level of condition going on in the Southeast.
And have you been able to extract a commitment from Mr. Kanu himself about what he'll do and won't do if he's released?
Charles, I am not unmindful that even when we talk about political solutions to this matter, the federal government will have an interest on the terms and conditions of what that political solution will be. And rightfully so. The federal government must have to be assured of certain conditions. Equally, Nnamdi Kanu will also be assured of certain conditions that both parties can agree on.
Yeah, but it helps your case if you can
I was
advance
coming
it
to
by
that.
saying
I was coming to that.
that we've managed to get him to agree
No,
not to do ABC
even
or
without me saying that.
Right.
Look at the recent utterances of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu has come out and opposed Monday sit-at-homes which have ravaged the economy of the Southeast. He has also opposed all the senseless killings, and I've said the Igbos cannot continue to kill themselves and expect a change. He has also opposed the high level of crime and criminality that is happening in the Southeast. He's also supported peace in the Southeast. He's also supported economic development in the Southeast, which he put all these things together. On the face value of it, it gives a more value added to this negotiation and to any government to accept. But like I said, I am not unmindful, that everybody will come to the table, but let's adhere to the instructions of the judge and come to the table. And then I'm sure the federal government will have its own conditions. Nnamdi Kanu will have his own conditions. As for me, I'm available as his representatives to be there to advance and facilitate the dialogue at any level that is required to reach about a settlement on this matter so that there will be peace in the Southeast and the unconditional discharge of my constituent, Nnamdi Kanu, to go home.
So how do you think President Tinubu will respond to your appeal?
Why wouldn't he respond to that? Does he want to put himself in a situation where one part of the country continues to boil and is unmanageable? Or does he want to put himself in a situation where, as the President and Commander-in-Chief, that the protection of lives and properties, which ought to be his #1 fundamental responsibility, is he's keeping faith in the Southeast. We cannot continue in the way we are going. Charles, many Southerners cannot go, Southeasterners cannot go home as we speak for fear of being kidnapped, for fear of being assassinated. So the governors are themselves helping out to maintain the peace, but we need the federal government to come and do the right thing. And the right thing to do, outside of saying that it is intentional to have an Igbo man continue to lavish in prison, while the same people who have been charged in the same offenses with him, but that are not Igbos, have been given getaway, I don't know how to say it, monopoly.
Get out cards. Right.
And then because he is an Igbo man, then he continues to languish in jail. So at a point, this issue must have to be brought to a closure, and the judge has done all of us a favor to ensure that we seek a political solution and that we work towards it.
Well, you're asking for his unconditional release, but at the same time, you're saying that the federal government will need to set its conditions for his release.
Of course, well, the conditions could be conditions. There are a lot of conditions the federal government can bring to bear. There's also a lot of conditions that Nnamdi Kanu can bring to bear. Nnamdi Kanu can say, well, if you're going to release me, what guarantees do I have that you're not going to rearrest me once I leave the gates of the DSS detention? So this must have to be brought to bear. But unconditional meaning as well, that he's no longer going to be charged for the same offenses that have been lodged against him, which we hope that the Attorney General will make a statement in court or write to the presiding judge. And the law says that once that is entered for discontinuance, then his case must be totally discharged of.
But You are convinced that if he instructs his Attorney General to discontinue the trial and free Nnamdi Kanu, I mean, I keep banging on about this because that's a critical point. It'll usher in a new period of peace
and stability
in the Southeast. The reason I say that is that beyond the fact of what you're talking about, the incarceration of an Igbo person or what, I mean, a lot of Igbo people are the victims of that.
Of course.
In fact, most of them are the victims of the crime.
Of course.
So they need to know that it will usher in a period of peace in their region and they can all go home and that the situation won't worsen.
Absolutely. I mean, you just said it all. If we free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from detention, the most important thing that will happen in the Southeast is for us to know, like I also said, those who are benefiting economically from the savages of bloodshed, from crime and high criminality, from banditry, assassination, and otherwise minded. They're there. Yeah, there are some foreign elements that are also part of this group. But 90% of those who are committing these high crimes and criminality are from the Southeast themselves.
Right, because obviously we have to be careful that if he's released,
absolutely,
you're not going to have criminals committing crimes in his name, which would put him in a very difficult situation. Yeah.
So he has a responsibility as well, if released, just like he has made pronouncements against Monday sit-at-homes, which has ravaged the economy. He had made pronouncements against the senseless killings. He has made pronouncements against kidnapping and assassinations. He had made pronouncements in favor of peace. He has made pronouncements in favor of economic development of the Southeast. I believe verily that if he comes out and sticks by these things that he has opposed and supported, it will be a new watershed in the Southeast, a turning point, whereby all of us can now begin not just to look at insecurity and security as we are doing currently now, but we will continue to look at it because it's important. But now we'll be looking at economic development of the Southeast, where a lot of employment opportunities to teeming youth will now pull them out of the battleground of insecurity.
But we know that the federal government has in the past stuck to its guns, even when an appeal court dropped all charges against Mr. Kanu. They simply
ignored it.
Explored other legal options, even after it became clear that that extraordinary rendition was seen by experts to have created a permanent barrier.
Not just experts, the Supreme Court ruled against that.
But they believe that it should have created a permanent barrier to his prosecution. But even in the face of that, he was never released.
He was never released. That's what I'm saying. Does it exist in this federal republic that where it matters to an Igbo man, then there are two laws. One for other Nigerians that will have consideration of the administration, whether it be previous administrations or this current administration, and another one just for the Igbo man. What we are saying, due process. Every subject of Nigeria is entitled to due process and protection of the law. Nnamdi Kanu is no different, and we must accord to him the same regards, the same opportunities of law as we have given to Sunday Igboho, as we've given to Sawore, as we have given to the chairman of the Metiala, and as we have given to many alleged terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists, that have been released from prison over time. And yet, what crime has Nnamdi Kanu committed that is bigger than what all these other people have committed that doesn't warrant the federal government to be able to look at it favorably and, invoke Section 174 and invoke Section 107 and 108 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act and the Constitution.
So if President Tinubu doesn't respond positively to your call, I know you've expressed optimism, but if he doesn't respond positively to your call, what will be your next move?
There is no next move because I believe he would respond.
No, but just in case he doesn't.
No, I'm just saying, I am optimistic. I am committed. And I am, prepared to continue to be engaged to play this out and positively. Like I said, the options that we had before are not the options we have today.
But I mean, there were appeals to the previous government.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And he didn't.
The options we had before. No, the options we had before are not the options we have today. Today we have an option of the trial judge herself saying, let's take a pause to see whether we can have political negotiation on this. Today we have Nigerian House of Representative members across political parties, across the ethnic divide. It's not all that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, at the moment, the people who actually signed the document are 50 out of hundreds of lawmakers.
Do you know how long it takes to convince one member, or 2 members, or 10 members to support your bill or to support your motion, let alone to convince 50?
No, I understand that, and you ought to be commended for that. But what about those who oppose his release? I mean, how powerful are their voices and their arguments, and could theirs be bigger than yours?
No, I recognize their voices. I also recognize their concerns. Like they say in America, feel your pain. But your pain cannot be at a level that would suffice that Nnamdi Kanu, having been held back in the same manner others have been held back, but we are released to go about their works of life. And he's still staying there. But what we're also doing is we're not just relying on just members of the House of Representatives. There are ongoing consultations going on now with critical stakeholders. Even some stakeholders we may have had wrongly held perceptions about the way they handled certain issues on this matter. We're talking to them. We're talking to our governors. We're talking to our distinguished senators. We're talking to friends of Igbos to say, please come. Let us all work together for the first time, getting a sensitive issue like this that borders on.
So you're aiming to overwhelm those who oppose it. Because the reason I say that is that Ohanaeze Ndigbo say there are some governors and National Assembly members, quite powerful people who are working against Mr. Kanu's release.
I wouldn't know that. What informed Ohanaeze? I wouldn't know what may have informed Ohanaeze to make that statement. Of course, I don't even expect that on this matter that we'll have a consensus on it. Is not plausible to do that. You can never have a consensus. But I believe that we can have enough consensus that will speak to the mind and speak to the heart of Mr. President. Like I said earlier, Mr. President has demonstrated that he is a listening and attentive president. That if we make a compelling argument for him and set it out in our opinions, that he will acquiesce in that and then allow his Attorney General or instruct his Attorney General to do the right thing. I do not believe that the judge herself just woke up overnight and said, you know what, you guys should go and seek a political solution to this. I'm sure there are certain things maybe within the evidences also provided that probably give her concern that we can't take a chance either convicting this man in the public interest or calling for him to be released also in the public interest. And she chose the rightful thing to do, which is to ask both parties, go back and sit, negotiate, and come back and give me a settlement agreement.
So my people, that is it. I hope you guys had everything they said in this particular interview. And I believe that Honorable Obi spoke really, really well. Yes, my people. And we pray, we will continue to pray that at the end of the day, this out of court settlement go get ahead. And then Nnamdi Kanu will be a free man. That is our prayer and it's going to happen. No matter all the manipulation, no matter all the wuru our Eastern governors are doing. My people, God go put all of them in shame. Yes, so. Because whatever they are doing, like, what are they going to gain from all this nonsense? What are they going to benefit if Nnamdi Kanu still living or still staying in the DSS custody? Like, these people are so wicked. Very heartless human beings. My My people, please, I would love you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section about all these things that is happening. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Please, if today is your first time, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And also, don't forget to turn on the post notification so that anytime I upload a new video, you'll be the first person to be notified. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Goodbye for now.